Hi, I'm Peter Brusso for 101 Small Business Mastermind, and we got the whole crew with us again this week. Say good morning, Frank.
Good morning, Frank.
And say good morning, Dick.
Good morning, Dick.
All right, there we go. And I'm going to start out my A block with sharing. We're going to be sharing right here, this PDF. So guys, let me know when this comes in for you. I'm sure it's going to be fine on mine because I can float it in and out, but let me know so when it comes in.
Yeah, we got it. It's clear.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Now, per a conversation Frank and I had a week or so ago, you know, one of the things that people don't know is how to do publicity properly, particularly flyers and the same is true for business cards, brochures, everything. And so I'm going to go through the pieces that you need to have to make a great flyer, and I'll have this up on the podcast so they can download this for their own use on their computer. And excuse the fact that I use this to teach my self-defense weapons instructors how to make a flyer, but instead of redoing everything, I just thought I'd grab this. All right. The first thing you gotta know, and you know what I was gonna do and I forgot to do it, darn it, but if any of you got any mail graphic card or something in the mail, you can do it the acid test wise here. But the first thing you have to have is an action graphic. And an action graphic moves your eye right to the headline. Now you can see here, I've got these arrows that kind of flow and it runs into the headline. The one below, that graphic is not an action graphic, it just sits there. So your eye has to try to figure out where to go. That's a very poor graphic. And you guys can stop me at any time you want along the way here. So the number one thing, the most important thing on the whole thing happens to be an action graphic, as shown here. And that action graphic must lead you to your headline, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next major piece of a headline is a headline must have a U in it, Y-O-U, or an implied U, not as good. So here's an example. You will learn to protect your family. That's a good headline. Poor headline. Defense doesn't need to be difficult. Very poor. Okay? And so always put a U. People want to know what's in it for them. And so a good headline has to have a U in it. All right. Now we've got an action graphic and we got a good headline. The next one are subheads. Now the same thing is true. You want to have an implied U if you can into a subhead, okay? And in this one, you will learn to protect your family, and this will happen in 30 minutes. Again, it's a benefit-driven type of subhead. Imagine the wonderful feeling of walking without fear. The seminar, in the seminar, you will da-da-da-da-da. Okay, it's got a U, it's got a feel to it. You're going to get something emotional out of it, and that's what a good subhead drives. And by the way, I forgot to point out, a headline should be in very large font size. Subheads are just slightly below that. 18-point font is good. If you're going to use a headline, a 14-point font is the next one below it. All right, so you've got an action graphic, you've got a headline and a subhead, key pieces. The next thing you want is your ad copy. We call any text there follows called ad copy. You want bullet points of a benefits-driven thing, not features. Features don't sell, benefits sell. So here's some examples of good benefits from this particular flyer. There's a U again, you will learn to defend yourself against a violent attack or attacker. It's easy to learn. It's fun to learn. These are benefits. You will come away empowered. You won't have fear of being attacked ever again. Your family will walk without fear. You will get a self-defense weapon as part of the class. These are all very positive benefits, very powerful benefits that go directly to the bottom line, and that being the person reading it. And these are poor ones. Self-defense weapon comes in black and color black. Who cares, right? Only 30 people in a class, slight benefit, not much. A self-defense tool fits in your hand. Well, duh, it should. I call that a fresh fish statement, by the way. And my fresh fish statement is so many people utilize a chunk of ad space for fresh fish. When you go to the store and they have in the window, it says fresh fish today, that's a waste of good store's window space because you expect to have fresh fish. Duh. Salmon on sale today. That's a better use. Okay. So self-defense tool fits in your hand. Duh, fresh fish. The self-defense tool comes in 9 models. Who cares? Only strong people can defend themselves. Really horrible. So your benefits have to be, your bullet points need to be benefits driven, not feature driven. And then the next one is you have to have a call to action. People, unfortunately, a lot of places say people are stupid. You got to tell them what you want them to do. Well, it's kind of sort of true. They're not stupid, mind you, but you got to tell them what you want them to do. So a call to action is a premium piece, and it's underneath those benefits because you want to tell them, hey, you want to make a telephone call, or do an email, something to that effect. Sign up today, but you need a good call to action. Good calls to action. Enroll today, only 30 students will be taken. That's kind of a threat. You better do it now or you're going to miss out. 10 more students slots available, so call today. All of these force you into some kind of action. If you enroll today, you get 10% off your tuition. By Friday, you get 10% off your tuition. So these are all really good calls to actions. Poor calls to actions don't imply anything. Come by and sign up. It starts next week. We handle all those who are interested. Those are very poor calls to action. Now, the next piece is, and this is kind of a mind blower, next to your telephone number, which should be in the bottom right-hand side of the flyer, you want an icon. You want an action telephone icon. If you have an icon of a telephone ringing, believe it or not, statistically, you'll get 25% more callers. We don't know why, but in fact, it's quite true. So you want an action graphic icon. You see, this one's ringing off and kind of throwing your eye towards the telephone number. This is probably the best breed of this group. And your telephone number needs to be in the same size font as your headline, bottom right hand. In America, we read top to bottom, left to right. So the most important stuff is at the top left and at the bottom right of your flyer or your materials. So the next thing is never use inverse video. This is regular text right here. And inverse video text is a white letter on dark background. Well, here that is. And if you look at it, it's 25% harder for the human eye to read the inverse video than it is just regular text. That's why you should never use it for anything that you want them to read much of. You can get away with it in a headline. You can get away with it with a telephone number, but not anything you want them to read. Why in heaven's name would you make it 25% harder for them to read your ad copy? It doesn't make any sense. And so you'd never use inverse video. And so what does this look like? Well, here's what a good website or a good flyer looks like. Here's your action graphic leading right to your very large headline with a U in it. You can see there's a U. Subhead, it'll be a wonderful time walking without fear. In this seminar, you will, learn to defend yourself. It's easy to learn. These are these are the bullet points that are a benefit bullet points. Here's my call to action. 10 more student slots available, so call now. Here's my action graphic leading to the call. Notice it's in the bottom right, and this is in the top left. The two most important pieces of the real estate are covered, and that's how you build a flyer that works, and it works for your website, in many cases, all print material. So without any further ado, I'll stop sharing, and do you have any questions?
I have a statement.
Yes, go ahead.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen you and heard you do this. And
is that good?
In this case, it is. Every time you do this, I go, wow. It's concise. It's well laid out. Well, because it's a flyer as well, but even everything it's like walking down a set of stairs. You know, you don't skip a stair because you could trip. There's no need to trip, and it's just so logical. And when you see the final flyer at the end, it's so clean, and every piece has a reason for being there.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoy watching you do this. It's good.
Well, you know, last week in your Misfits and Rebels and Misfits meeting, you know, we saw a business card. They're the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, the major piece of that business card didn't have a U in it.
Right.
No action graphic, nothing that draws the eye, no benefits driven. Remember in the week before there, 2 weeks before that, I said, where's the benefits? I want to know what's in it for me. And, you know, we kind of get lost in making materials like that because we think we have to be factual. Well, we do have to be factual, but we have to be factual in a way that's a benefit to the reader, not to us. That's the shift difference.
Yeah, I agree.
Dick, you want to weigh in on that? Do you have anything? Unmute yourself there, Dick.
No, no. Like Frank. I've seen this. You present this many times, and I was a recipient of it when we were working my Legal Shield business card with the CD, and you really prompted me and taught me how to, you know, like you did today, just what's the right way and the wrong way. So yeah, it's another valuable tool for your business. Yes.
Yeah, and I swear, you know, it goes all the way across from business cards to flyers to threefold brochure. Everything follows the same kind of look, touch, and feel, I think. And if there was anything, Frank, that we could get across to newbies and people starting their business is to give them stuff that works, you know, give them a chance, folks. And so that's good. And I'll have that on the website, obviously, that they can download it. Be a link right there, so they'll open it. It'll open on their computer, and they can save as and use it as an example. And again, I apologize. I used it for my Defender business, but I teach every one of our instructors how to build flyers that work for them, which is kind of cool. So.